I'm so happy and excited that you're here in my show, Radha Rayasam Talk Show.
Thank
As you
you.
know, a lot of people follow this show, and most of them take this show very deep into their heart because many inspiring persons have come and they have shared their life stories and experiences, and
Mhm.
I'm really very privileged today to be with you, sitting with you, and talking.
Thank you.
So before I get
Before I get
started, let me just make make it clear to my viewers and listeners who I'm talking to. So I'm talking to Lalita Hariharan ji. She's the wife of singer Hariharan, जो बहुत ही famous है. He's a world-class singer. Everybody recognizes him globally. And she's not just his trophy wife. She also has her own career going on, something that she's very passionate about. Jo, she believes in what she does. So what do you do, Lali ji? And can you just go ahead and give us a description about your life being married to a very high profile celebrity, and then how you managed to go ahead and have your own career and make a niche for yourself?
I think this is right from the time I was a young girl, even before I married. Independence and to have a name for yourself was something that I always thought was necessary for each and every person. Therefore, right from the beginning, I have been working in some form or the other. I was a teacher in a school. Then I started teaching when I came to Bombay too. This was a stint which kept going on once in a while. But then I realized that maybe I should do something different. And always a challenge to do something different has been my goal. So I took up showbiz in the form of production, doing sound, doing light, setting up the stage. Because with each and every show that you went, you learned something new, you figured out something different for you. And I changed, I think, the art of showbiz down south because where there were only the singers standing with a band behind and singing with just plain dhoti and a white shirt or something. I brought in color on the stage. I got in dancers on stage. I got a lot of interaction on stage and it various kinds of production and that made things a little what do you call challenging for me to bring things about new trends all the time. That was the only thing that I felt that we should have something new happening just because I felt that always there should be something new in my life. So after
Excellent.
the production, yeah, after doing production and stuff, then I said, oh, now that's boring. Let's get on to something else. And it so happened way back in 2003, 2004, I was in Bangalore doing nothing because my kids were studying there. And as a dutiful mother, I went, set up a house for 2 years over there with them and stayed with them because boarding school and putting children out of the house at a tender age was not a thought that I really thought was good for the children or for the parent. So I stayed with them, and while they were in school, I had nothing much to do. So I had a few friends with whom I used to sit and chat. And there was this one particular friend of mine who said, why are you wasting your time just chatting and making nothing out of your life? I said, hey, I've done enough. I'm just chilling now. And he said, no, you need to do something. And he got me a whole lot of papers for applying. And he says, you're so good. You have this doctor streak in you, which is so intuitive. You know what's happening. So why don't you do something in the doctor line? And I was like, hey, chill. I don't want to get into another college for 5 years. So I'm okay. So he said to do alternate therapy, and that's when he gave me a lot of papers on hypnotherapy and Reiki and something else and something else. And I kept looking at these papers and wondering whether which one would I do? So I would just shuffle them up and put them back on the table. And every time I would shuffle and clean the table out, the paper on hypnotherapy would keep falling. The application form for hypnotherapy would keep falling at my feet. I would pick it up and keep it on the top. And then after three, four times, I was like, why the hell does only this keep falling on my feet? So I said, okay, I need to know what is it all about. And I had Landmark, a bookstore just next to the house. So now my trips after 10 o'clock would be to the bookstore, sit there and read these various books on hypnotherapy and figure out what it was. And then I realized that that's what I have been doing all my life because it was all about conditioning the mind and my subconscious that this is how things have to be. And somehow or the other, over a period of time, it would be the way I had conditioned it. A simple thing like when I broke my knee cap, I was like, the doctor told me 3 months, you're out of commission. You can't move, you can't drive, you can't do anything. You're under house arrest. And I told him, give me 5 weeks and I'll be back driving my car. And he was like, impossible, Lalita. It doesn't work that way. It's a kneecap. And I said, okay, I'll come back in 5 weeks. You take an x-ray. If you win, fine. But if I win, it's a different story. And he said, all right, let's go about. And I knew that if I set my mind, so every day I would talk to my knee and tell it, look, I need you to heal. Look, I need you to heal. And I want you to be joined. I don't want to go through the stress. And I have given the doctor 5 weeks. So please keep up my prestige. And I used to keep talking to the knee. Bang on, 5 weeks over, I went to the doctor. I said, okay. He said, you're wasting money and my time. I said, I don't care. He took an x-ray and he said, okay, you can get off your cast. I said, what? And he said, no, it's healed. It's done. I said, so? He said, yeah, do a little bit of physiotherapy and then you'll be fine. And I said, yeah, what about driving? He said, give it another couple of weeks. I said, no. I got into the car, told my driver, sit in the other side, I'm going to drive. I drove back home. So I know that when I set my mind to something, I achieve it. And hypnotherapy is all about setting your mind. And in the therapeutic form, it is conditioning the other person under hypnosis and changing their thought patterns in their life because there are certain belief systems that are so ingrained in us that we have negative thoughts and emotions coming out of it. So just reconditioning their subconscious to do what has to be done makes the changes. By then the kids were out of school and I got them back to Bombay. I came back and then started my quest to see where can I find someone who will help me find out what is hypnotherapy. In the meanwhile, I had done a postal course with all those papers. I did hypnotherapy. I did find out a lot and a lot of things in my own space which I wanted to heal was already taking place. So I needed a therapist for myself to progress. And I also needed someone to teach me more. I started a quest, and then this suddenly out of nowhere, a friend of mine who is a radio jockey said, hey, Lali, today I interviewed this guy, and he's an hypnotherapist, and he conducts classes, and he does this, and he does that. I said, what's his number? Give it to me. And then started the whole journey of going through the courses. And they said usually it takes 2 years to complete the whole lot because the courses don't fall into place on time. But surprisingly, I finished the first level. Within 2 weeks, second level was announced. I did the second level. Within a month, the third level. And then by the time it was about 5 months down the lane, I had finished all the 5 levels. I had done 10 cases which they wanted me to submit. That was running parallel. When I started this journey, it was April. By September 20th, I had a doctor's practicing license and the certification that I was a full-fledged hypnotherapist. Then,
Excellent.
okay, doesn't stop there. It goes on to wanting to learn regression, wanting to do past life, wanting to do various other things.
Mm.
And while I was in this, there were so many other kinds of healers who walked into my space. Somehow I came to know of their classes, their courses, and they would all come in and say that, oh, and somebody would say, oh, this one's doing this course, that one's doing this, there's a 2-day seminar, there's a 3-day workshop, there's this. And somehow or the other, I was involved in all of them.
Mm.
And then realized there was this lady called Lucy Baker who came from Australia who did energy work. And
Mm.
that intrigued me. I said, energy work, I need to look for it. I went into her class, and when I saw her, I felt as if I knew her from before. And she too had the same feeling because she picked me out of nowhere and said, uh, there is something that I think you will do out of this course.
Mm.
I said, you think so? She says, yeah, I know, I have something. So she taught me how to project the mind to beyond. And I learned the art of projecting my mind as to looking at a blank paper and knowing that there's something behind. A blank paper from this side, but there was a picture on the other side. But I could read the picture on the other side
Mm.
and tell her that this was the picture that you're trying to show. She would flip the paper and it would be that.
Mm.
And then I realized my mind could go beyond.
Mm.
And then I started reading on astral projection, astral travel, on moving the energy space to looking beyond. And in the meanwhile, also I had a therapist who was helping me to figure out my life, where I stand, what should I do, why do I go through so many changes of, you know, um, thoughts that I want to do this now, I wanted to do that now. And then we did a couple of regressions, and I realized that over a few lifetimes, I have been nothing but a healer. And
Mm.
I have been doing this only.
Mm.
And there were various forms which I practiced in those lives.
Mm.
So I started incorporating those energies into my this life.
Mm.
And then the whole integrated healing started with various forms in one space. So it was not just hypnotherapy, it was not just energy, it was not just this or that. It was a wholesome thing which I could work on.
Mm.
And then when I had clients, they all benefited out of what I was telling them. So
Mm.
somewhere I used to tell them, why don't you just eat this vegetable for a week and you would be fine?
Mm.
And they'd come back and say, yeah, actually it worked so well. I'm good. And I would wonder from where did I tell them that there was this vegetable that they need to eat and they could be fine. When I went through that and started analyzing how, I realized that I could actually channel my speech through some of the ascended masters or through one of the energies, super energies that were around.
Mm.
And then it started. I would call sometimes Shirdi Baba, sometimes Shivji, sometimes Kali for various forms of healing. If someone came with a lot of negative energies that needed to be released, I would call upon Ma Kali and say, Ma, come, I need your help today. I need to work on this. And the thing is that when I used to close my eyes before they came and said, okay, Chana, help me to heal this person the way they should be healed, I would always get these messages that this is what they will talk about, this is what you actually need to know about them. And then I used to pay full attention and believe totally what I was hearing. There was no doubt. So when I would go down to my clinic and they would start talking, I would say, okay, I think we need to get to this part of your life. What's happening?
Mm.
And this is what I think is your problem. And they would collapse, they would start crying and say, how did you know? Then I realized I had my connections with the spirits and I could talk to them and I could call upon anyone to help me out.
Mm.
And so now my therapy level has changed to okay, I use hypnotherapy to calm them down, cool them, to bring them to a level of absolute peace in the clinic, and then summon whichever energy I wanted for that day. and say that, okay, whoever wants to come in, please come in and tell me what I'm supposed to do. And I would just close my eyes and start talking, and therapy would be done. No clue, no recordings, no nothing, no messing around with figuring out what I said and why I said it. It was just blind faith that just went through.
So tell me, I keep calling you Lali ji. I know it's Lali, right?
Yeah.
So Lali ji, whenever I did something at home, say I just wanted to introduce a totally new type of eating because I thought it was healthy. Somehow I always, though nobody said anything, I felt that I was paranoid, I was being crazy. So you were doing something that is very different and unheard of, especially in South Indian families. So, how did your family receive this? How did they support you?
You mean with this new angle of therapies and stuff?
Yes, yes.
The thing is that surprisingly, both my kids, again, I feel are already into it, because the minute I say chakra, energy, and the little one says, yeah, today I pulled in all my energies to my ankle because I was playing basketball, and I would ask him, how would you do that? And he would be like explaining to me its various styles of, this is how you do it, this is how you have, and I would wonder how he knew about so many things. My elder one, I call him always a sage, because he has a different approach. He is one of the calmest, coolest guys that I have seen in my lifetime. Nothing perturbs him, nothing bothers him, and he never gets angry at something and says, chill, mom, it's okay, these things happen. And they have become my teachers because they teach me how to conduct this whole thing and say that it's okay. I would always advocate less of allopathic medicine, saying it's harmful, it has side effects. And they always tell me, Mom, I think you can just heal by closing your eyes. You don't need medication. You don't need this. And they are already into that form even before I want to get there. Then when you start looking into their lives and figuring out what they are into, you realize that they are also different forms in the same space, but slightly more evolved. I'm learning it at 45. They are already learning it at 15 and 20. And they already know more about what I'm talking, because they are able to sit and have a discussion with me on this without batting an eyelid. So I don't think for them it's a new subject, and that it has been there throughout. See, these are things which we have done in our age-old
Culture, tradition.
cultures and traditions that has happened. Over the period of time, everything has come and that has gone down, but it is now getting revived because that has more force. The Chinese medicine of acupressure and acupuncture and everything is being now widely practiced. Indian yoga is a part of a class which the world over goes through. So these are things that are getting revived.
It's true.
Hypnotherapy was there in a different form right from the Egyptian time, when they used to do, just tell that person that you're going to be all right when I do this, going to be all right when I do this, and people became all right. So it's right from the BCs. It's just that it got buried somewhere and then it is now being excavated again.
So at any moment or at any point through your journey of learning and discovering, you never doubted yourself. You said, yes, this is all I need to do.
The thing is, in this whole kind of therapy, when you do alternate medicine, belief is very important. Belief in yourself. Because whichever power you're talking about it resides within you. You don't go searching for it. I'm not a person who runs around to temples in the mornings or the evenings or stays on fast or keeps something and do ritualistic pujas at home. No, I don't like it. I don't do it. But for me, I know that I don't look for my God. I know it's within me and I am God personified. So where is the doubt?
So belief is extremely important. What about people mocking you? Did that ever happen, or have people always been
Yeah,
very supportive?
everybody has it. But then when you do therapy, you always say each one has a perception.
Hmm.
And it is fine for you to have a perception. My perception is different.
Hmm.
And I respect your perception because that's how your thought is.
Hmm.
And it is fine with me.
Hmm.
The time it disturbs me is only when the perception is affecting me.
Hmm.
But then if you have a perception and I have one and I believe in mine, I'm not bothered about your perception. If I'm angry at you for a particular reason because my perception of you on that point
Hmm.
was different, but it's not you, the person that I'm arguing with. I'm arguing with that particular thought of yours.
Hmm.
I'm fighting about that thought of yours. That does not mean that somewhere I undermine you as the person.
Hmm. Correct. Makes total sense. And
So,
huh?
yeah, so there isn't any, what do you call, so if anyone has a difference of opinion, they're welcome to have it.
True. So you have reached an other level of platform where you're very clear about what you want, what it is, your faith, your
Yeah, and I'm
belief.
very definite about what I say.
Mm. Yes.
Even if the other person has a doubt, I always tell them, look, you will come back and tell me that I was right, and I'll wait for it, and it is okay.
How has this enhanced your relationship with your husband? I can understand that with your children you have connected beautifully, but he is, a very well-known celebrity, very
The musicians,
recognized.
singers, when they are on stage, they are in a meditative space for that time by themselves. So he is also vibrating on a meditative space where he connects with his super energy while he's on stage. That is why it's flawless, it's beautiful, and it renders and touches so many people. If it did not have that spirit, it would not touch so many people. So I know that there is a certain amount of elevated spirituality. And at sometimes when you have your doubts, your arguments or anything, but I always let him have his say and say that, okay, it's okay for you to say it. And if you differ from mine, but fine, be different.
Hmm.
So it might go across for a few days of having, harping on it. But for me, there was never a harping on the same thing again and again. I would say it once, I'm done with it. It happens, it applies to my servants, it applies to my kids, to everybody. When I lose my head, I lose my head.
Hmm.
And they all know it, that it lasts for as long as 2 minutes and then I'm back to normal because it was the thought that I was interacting with, not the person. So the person comes back and stands in front of me. There is no animosity there.
Hmm. Good
So
way of
I can go
thinking.
back and start talking to the friend as a friend to that same person.
Hmm.
There were times, even when I was before into this whole space, where we would have an argument or a fight and not talk for days together. But now it lasts for a few minutes and then we are back to having conversation.
Incredible. That
Even
this
if I
has.
have a difference of opinion, if I say that something is wrong that we have done, but our day-to-day conversation carries on. The argument remains.
Hmm.
We still will harp and argue and discuss it and make a big hue and cry about it. But the very next moment, खाना क्या खाओगे? ये क्या करोगे? इधर जा रहे हो क्या? That goes on the side.
Hmm.
It's not that you turn your face when you see the other person, and the same applies with him too.
Hmm.
Because over a period of time, with all of us talking this jargon at home, I think he's also back in there. So if there is anything that, array, that person's not calling me, can you check his energies and see what is the thing that is running in his head? And don't tell him, oh, that person's got this. So chill.
Hmm.
So he would take it and say, okay, fine. You know?
So that is very interesting to know about your interaction with your family, with your friends, even with the people that work under you. And moving on, you have taken this and you have touched people and touched their lives and you have helped them heal. So, what exactly is a healing process? And how does your skill come into play? What types of people come to you, and what type of problems do they discuss with you?
there are there is always one underlying problem. The core issue with every person is a relationship. With relationship is not just husband wife. Relationship is with children, with relationship with your servant, relationship with God, relationship with your dog, relationship with your mother, your mother-in-law, your father, your brother, your sister. Everything is a relationship. My relationship with this computer right now is talking to you. So I am exuding some amount of energy to this computer to carry my voice across. Right? So there is a relationship that I am having with the computer at this moment. If so any case that comes will boil down to relationship. Okay, the first thought that you need when somebody wants to come to you or when they come to you, the first thing is the need to heal. That's when they come. If they don't want to heal, they will not come to you.
True. They ran
Okay?
out of all options to cure themselves.
No, I have clients who will do homeopathy, allopathy, and yet see me also. Okay, that's a comfort zone. There are people who like being sick.
Ah.
You see, you can never heal them.
Yeah, जिनको कोई सरदर्दी ना हो तो how will you cure it?
No,
How will
but
you cure
here,
it?
what I do is bring them to the realization as to why they love being sick. Is it lack of attention from a particular person? Is it that they get over attention when they are sick? Or is it that they get rest when they are sick? What is that void that they are fighting that they want to be sick?
Interesting.
Put these questions in front of them. They don't see you the second time, but I'm sure that they understand that, look, she knows that we are just pulling a fast one. Psychologically, it's a comfort zone to be there. And it is, if you're getting the attention that you are getting because you are having a shoulder pain and your husband comes and every evening gives you a shoulder rub and you're enjoying it, you will continue having the shoulder pain till it even if it is not there. It will automatically come at 5:30 when he walks in. This is thought and belief. This is what I'm trying to say.
True, true, true. So recently we were talking about women and weight issues. You remember, no, Laliji? हम लोग
Yeah.
बात कर रहे थे. You had some interesting things to say. आप कह रहे थे. You told me that you will share some very good
But
thoughts
that's
about
therapy,
it.
though. Most of my clients come back and say, "Oh, I lost quite a lot of weight. I lost quite a lot of weight," and I'm thrilled that it works.
Before I
Because
get where we go ahead, I want to ask you what age group of people do you see way more, and what is the common problem between all of these people?
I told you one common problem that chain links is relationship.
Relationship.
Somebody will come with sugar and saying, "I'm diabetic," but what is it? Not finding sweetness in a relationship.
Ah.
Okay, or an overdose of so much of sugar that you can't digest it. There are two ways to it to analyze, but you have to figure out with that person which is it that is affecting them. No sugar or over sugared life.
Wow. Never thought about it this way.
Yeah, so it's all application. So every ailment, see, it's like this. There is a thought. The thought gives rise to certain vibrations in you. Let's say there is a negative thought. It gives negative vibration, brings upon a negative emotion in you. The build-up of the negative emotion becomes a physical ailment. Physical ailment is much later in life, but it has a thought which has started the whole channel. So let's go back and trace the thought. Which is the thought that gave you this? Why do you have acidity? Who bothered you that you couldn't, and you've eaten your anger and you could not talk back, and that gave you acidity because you're burning inside. So
Oh,
just go ask him who the hell is irritating the shit out of you. Sorry for my language, but
no, 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 no. We are just having a regular conversation. We are not any big TV, nothing professional. This is just who we are. So don't worry about that. आप बातें करते जाओ. So okay, now I'm able to see this whole thing from another perspective. I had always isolated ailments as something totally separate
no,
from
it's
personal
not. It starts
relationships.
with you, it ends with you.
Ah, hmm,
How you, again, perception, how you perceive a particular thing.
hmm,
Like I said, I would turn around, tell that person off, and sit happily because
hmm,
I have got it out of my system.
hmm,
You like to stew in it and get acidity, it's up to you.
hmm.
Is it?
True, true, true.
मैं तो बिंदास हूँ ठीक है चलता
hmm.
है ना
सही है बिल्कुल
so
सही
it's
है
all about how you perceive something and how it affects you
हम्म तो ये
so
चाइल्डहुड में जो फ्रॉइडियन कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं जैसे कि चाइल्डहुड में अगर इफ योर मदर इज लाइक दिस देन यू डू अ सर्टेन थिंग्स बिकॉज
see the thing is that your belief system need not be only from this life. It can be intrauterine, it can be past life, it can be somebody else's energy in you. You can have a foreign body, you can be possessed and talking through somebody else's space. Everything can be there. It's up to the therapist. We are therapists to analyze where it is coming from. You have a chronic problem for which you have no issues in this life. Obviously, I will look at another life. Or I will look who else is living within you.
वाओ नेवर
You
थॉट
might be carrying a foreign energy talking through you as and executing its stuff through you. So you have no sense about it.
आई नेवर न्यू सच थिंग्स वर पॉसिबल until now
These things happen.
and you have personally witnessed it and how was the reaction of the people when you told them about it
No, they go through it with me, no?
mm.
So under hypnosis, so they have recollection of what was happening with them and they do have certain memories of what they did and well, you in this life see sometimes you walk into a space you don't just like that space certain places you go you're so comfortable you can just put
Mm.
up your legs and sit down it
Mm.
happens to towns it happens to certain cities like when I go to London I feel most comfortable I feel as if I know the whole place in and out I hop in and out of underground stations as if it's been there I mean I've been living there all my life no but I know there has been a life where I have been here and I have done all this and I know the roads
Mm. Mm.
Like people here tell me, oh, you should take Lali as your tour guide in London. She knows the place much better than the locals do.
अच्छा
I tell the locals which expressway and which exit they have to take to go somewhere.
why do you
How does
think
it
is
happen?
that you think it's from your past life
Yeah, it's a memory which I can just, and since I've been doing this so much, it's easy for me to step in and out of.
what have you learnt about yourself would you be open to sharing it with us
Like I told you, all my life, I mean, all my previous lives, I have been a therapist, not a therapist, but the occult, the healer, the person, those kinds of things. In certain times, they were prosecuted because they were thought to be evil, because they had some superpowers.
hmm.
That was the thought that was there. But I have gone through all of that, and I know that, this is a space that is very comfortable in my skin.
And you have
So,
embraced this and you have a kind of freedom because there is no suppression in today's world like it used to be in
yeah.
previous
So now
generations
people come willingly to do it and give it a try, and also they like the fact that it is non-intrusive.
hmm.
Okay, and they always like a third party listening to you with no, agenda or no taking sides, listening to their point of view, saying that, oh, this is what is happening to me. Because always is the person who comes to you for healing is the one who needs to be healed.
Hmm.
If they come and complain about, oh, he does that and he is like this, it's because he might be doing it and in his thought and perception,
Hmm.
not feeling guilty about it. It's
Hmm.
your thought and your problem
True.
thinking that he should be guilty of what he is executing.
Hmm.
Not necessary.
Hmm. Very
If you
true.
have a problem, then it's you who need to be healed.
So tell me, Laliji, I interact with a lot of women, and
Hmm.
their common thing is first they feel that they're paranoid for some reason. There is no
About what?
acceptance. Paranoid, like I told you, that they know so much knowledge now about the new types of foods, the new exercises, and when they feel like implementing it into very rigid cultures, South Indian culture, जैसे कि everything is preset. Like you get up in the morning, a woman is supposed to do this, and when we try to do say Pilates or something, just we start feeling paranoid about it. We wonder, we doubt ourselves. Then when it comes to relationships, it's very complicated to have proper communication with the husband. The husband has similar problems with the wife. It's difficult to communicate with children. Also, many of them are scattered globally, like they live in other countries and they're trying to adapt to that country while still keeping up their tradition. And they have to face a lot of new set of problems, like when they go back to India, they face jealousy, they face people who give them a lot of advice about culture stuff. At the end of the day, when a person comes home, especially a young mother or a young father, they are very stressed out, and it starts showing on their marriage, and it ends up affecting the children. The woman gets a lot of weight problems, and the guys usually end up with a gastric trouble. So
I told you. Exactly why the gastric
acidity,
trouble was there.
gastric trouble. They think that they're getting, heart attacks and stuff. This is common. I hear everywhere in between all the couples. And the children are very sad children. They're not very happy children because in India and all, we used to have our own life in our childhood. We were totally unrelated to our parents. We would go out, form our own, and so many relatives would come visit. But here it is very isolating, extremely isolating. So the children are pretty much neglected because the parents are so occupied with dealing with the stress that they're not able to give themselves fully to children. Many of them become aware of this and then they prioritize their children and their spouse, and they don't let in. But when both the parents are working, so much stress builds up. So where does a person that is this affected start from?
They have to start, like I said, it is first the thought.
Hmm.
The thought I'm stressed. The
Hmm.
thought that I'm not getting enough. See, I cannot put it as a broad spectrum thing, but we women need assurance and a lot of, what do you call, assurance and reassurance to we said that, oh, you are the most important person, you are the most important person, you are the most. Stop looking for someone else saying you're the most important person. You say to yourself, I am the most important person. And then it is an energy which you have within you that goes out of you.
Hmm.
Okay, so you can sit and look at a person and say that, okay, this person is right now very anxious, this person is this person is feeling this person is looking angry, this person is feeling sad. You can term it so easily, right, when you look at a person,
Hmm.
which means you are reading the energy that they are sending out.
Hmm.
So if you want to be loved, then love yourself. The message will go across that I love myself, and so love comes back to you through the other person. Here
Hmm.
you are like, oh, I'm so fat, and this and that, and you go on, and then the same irritation is carried forward. And when the other person, you're in relation with, comes in front of you, they read this irritation, so they are also irritated in that space.
Hmm.
Send first, love yourself. Send that love around you.
Hmm.
People will read that love and reciprocate to you with love.
Hmm.
One mantra, I love and respect myself, should be an Indian or whatever, any woman's mantra throughout their life. The minute you affirm to yourself that you love yourself and you respect yourself, find the other person loving yourself, respecting you much more. You are negating it yourself. So don't want someone else to blame.
Love yourself. Do not spread the blame on others, but blame yourself and
For what
realize
you
that
are
you're
in.
fighting with your own
You dig
thoughts.
the ground, only you will sink.
The other person won't even have a clue that you're so
That
angry or you're holding on.
you're angry about what? Have you voiced it? Have you told what you're angry about? Did you say what you want?
There are
You
women
don't
who tell.
communicate and you expect that other person to be psychic, astral, this, that, everything. It doesn't work.
Some people say my husband is a wall. I go and tell him all this, and no reaction comes. I'm so angry. I told him like this 50 times, लेकिन कुछ भी नहीं होता है.
Why are you angry? Chill and say it's him and his perception. If he doesn't agree with you, he is most welcome to have his own idea. Why should he just mingle and become one with you in your thought?
True.
No, like I said the other day, no individual is the same. We are all unique in our own spaces. So respect that uniqueness in that other person. He's different. First of all, he's not a woman. He's a man. Basic difference. You're the woman, he's the man. He's the provider. You're the one who has to be taking that provision that he's giving. Every woman nowadays wants to be the man of the house too. And that's where the energy disturbance starts, because there are two men living. Where is sex between two men as a common thing? Okay, it happens. But this is not normal, see?
Between a husband and wife, if both of them want to become
There
dominant.
is no female energy running in the house, then where is the male energy going to interact?
Correct. So, first we got to love and accept ourselves.
As women.
That sends out a lot of positive vibration which attracts more love from the other
No, you don't
person.
have to send positive vibration. Be positive within yourself
Within
for
you.
yourself.
Peace at
It will
heart.
work first.
Accept the other person as their own
As
being.
what they are. Yeah. If he is lesser than you, then he is lesser than you. That's a different soul. You're a different soul. Come down to soul levels. Okay?
So with this, it's a
These are two souls bonding. No husband wife are ideal couples ever, because each has to teach the one soul is learning from the other. That is the interaction. Figure out what you need to learn from this person for your soul growth, not for your physical growth. That's where the weight problem starts.
So, also being productive with time. The stay-at-home mom is extremely frustrated. She feels that she needs to go out and prove herself, and she can
That's
be
what I said.
the
The
next
male
Aishwarya
energy has
Rai.
so taken over. Everybody wants to prove them. Everybody wants to be the provider. Everybody wants to earn more than the other person. So here I am saying, be comfortable in your own skin. Okay, that is very important for you to progress within yourself.
Excellent.
Proving your point across and winning the argument is not progress. Winning your own argument within yourself is progress. Please understand there's a soul within you, and the soul knows what it's supposed to do. And the whole purpose in this life is not about gaining so many houses, so many cars, and that many properties. It's about how much your soul has grown.
To find peace within oneself. To find
with
acceptance
whatever
within
you
oneself.
have, to accept that, to live that is more important.
So,
Attaching yourself to materialistic things lasts only for this small period.
when should they start seeking help? Like, say, suppose somebody wants to come and see you for a therapy session, and they feel that, oh no, मैं तो ठीक हूँ, I'm not a mental, I'm not pagal, I don't
मैं
need.
ठीक हूँ मतलब then they don't need therapy. If they keep saying मैं ठीक हूँ तो they ठीक ही है. So they don't need therapy. It's only when you start undermining your own self.
Or they're hesitant to come because they're worried what others may think.
Again, then that's a perception.
That's their own problem.
Yeah, no, you want to improve yourself or you want to improve for others. That's why I said you need to have confidence within yourself, build your love and self-respect.
Hmm.
Only when you have your self-respect will you stop bothering about what another person's thinking.
So I see that you basically drive down a lot of common sense. You give a
Yeah.
lot of tools for a person to stand up for themselves.
Yeah, and to think positively that look, you need to do this. Don't blame the world for where you are. Blame yourself.
Hmm. Very strong lessons. And then once you have given a person this level of confidence in themselves, then you go ahead with the healing and the
Yeah, then
therapy.
automatically they are already 80% healed out here.
Hmm.
A person who comes with arthritis, rheumatoid, gets up on my from my table and walks home.
Hmm. It's all self-induced diseases. They
Yeah.
created it by themselves. Before I let you go, I know I have crossed my time limit with you. हम लोगों ने we had agreed to a certain time. But before I let you go for today, I had just one question to ask you. Something that spooked me out, something that had never occurred to me. Another foreign body talking through us. Should I freak out about it? Should I analyze myself and see if there isn't, or should I just be bindas and happy and relaxed?
Nothing. They're chilled. They didn't have another house, so they came and are with you. If you are comfortable with them, they're just a homeless
Not
vagabond.
me, not me. How do I know if they are within me, or is it beyond me to look into it?
You don't look into it. They
Hmm.
will, if they have to show themselves up, they will show themselves up.
Acha? Hmm. So is it something that a person need to worry about, or should we?
Not at all. Not at all. That's what I'm saying. It is just one of the factors that might affect the changes.
Hmm.
And again, you might be such a weak person. That is why it's clinging on to you. If you're a strong person, it's nowhere going to get to it.
Oh,
Mm.
if you're a self-confident person, it doesn't affect you.
It doesn't come into your space.
Uh-huh. Okay, then there is no way.
Yeah.
So I can sleep in peace tonight.
Of course, you can sleep in peace anytime.
It was wonderful catching up with you. Before we end this session, to all the viewers, what is your message?
Believe in yourself. I said that I think all through.
All through, that's what you said. So we'll come back with another part with you in this series. Laliji, thank you so much. Take care and
Welcome.
Sai Ram.
Bye bye.